Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome to the AI-assisted Triage and Treatment Challenge Ask Me Anything session. My name is Angela Austin. I'm a program manager and contractor supporting Defense Innovation Unit, or DIU. And at DIU, we accelerate the adoption of commercial technology to accelerate and advance national security. As part of that, we help to bridge the gap between commercial technology and Department of War. And prize challenges like the one we're here discussing today is just one of the tools we use to do that. I'm going to start by covering what to expect and what the format will be for today's session. And for those with questions, feel free to start entering those in as they pop up in your mind. You should see that function on the broadcast page to your right, with two of our partners who will speak a little bit on the context of this challenge and introduce them. And then from there, run through the prize challenge overview mechanics and what's required of you to submit. And then from there, we'll have Ms. Berthet talk through the problem area and the capabilities that we're looking for. And after that, we'll open up the Q&A portion. And also note that this meeting is being recorded. It'll be posted on our website shortly, and it'll be available to those who weren't able to join us today. Additionally, we have some other subject matter experts on the line, in addition to the partners that you'll hear from directly in the beginning. And they are across different organizations in this effort and different backgrounds and areas of expertise, and they'll be helping field some of these questions. And the goal of today is to help clarify the solicitation, help you understand what it is you need to do to submit, and just provide a little bit more context to the operational problem area. And with that, I'd like to introduce Major Sergio Loinez. Sir, over to you.
I just get a quick comms check before I start rambling.
You're good.
Thanks so much. Hey there, everyone. I am Major Sergio Loinez, Command Force Manager for the 68th Theater Medical Command. So I am currently spearheading the medical innovation portion of EFDL that you see kind of conceptually projected on your screens here. So I'm part of Team USARAF, U.S. Army Europe and Africa. 68 TMC is a two-star headquarters direct reporting unit to USARAF, which is the Army component of U.S. European Command and U.S. Africa Command. We also have on the line 5th Corps, who is the Army Corps assigned and forward postured in Poland. So the Eastern Flank Deterrence Line is an exportable kinetic ecosystem of ground-based deterrence. Though this concept is currently focused on Europe, it is easily transitioned to other theaters of operation. The current threat assessment has enemy forces regenerating at a 3-to-1 COFAM. That stands for correlation of forces and means. Then we see this as post-Ukraine ceasefire, or however we're categorizing that transition point. This operating concept brings autonomous and semi-autonomous friendly effects to degrade enemy forces, regain the positive COFAM, and posture for a counterattack. And this is post-defensive depth, again, as you see on the left side or cardinal direction, west side of your screens. USARAF has over 50 EFDL innovation capability requirements through mission command, counter UAS, ground autonomy, and launched effects, just to name a few. For medical specifically, we have 6. AI triage and treatment, of which we currently see the medical trauma sensor as increment 1. Uncrewed automated medevac system, that's for ground and air. Multimodal medical container. AI patient evacuation system. AI predictive class 8 ordering system, and freeze-dried plasma. We intend to have scalable and, when necessary, attritable capabilities that are low cost and, through time and space, interoperable across joint and allies and partners. We look forward to working with you all.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to introduce Ms. Brina Berthet. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, good morning, afternoon, everybody. I'm Brina Berthet. I am the Project Officer for Advanced Development for Project Manager Soldier Medical Devices. That's the PMSMD. I do the advanced development of devices that go out for the Army to the military, primarily medical forces. I'm also the one managing the medical trauma sensor, which will transition from this prize challenge to a program of record for the Army and then be deployed through our office.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, now I'll go into a little bit more on the challenge, what the structure looks like, and most of you are here today because you've read a little bit about the challenge. As you probably know, we're looking for battlefield triage capabilities, something that in real time is able to sense and help with the triage. And as part of that, this challenge will go through 3 phases with a total of 999,000 available in awards. And the final phase of this challenge will be in or during the sword exercise event. We also have a prototype OT potential following this. And you can see to the right of this slide some of our partners in this effort. We have multiple organizations involved and in different capacities. So this is a really, really large effort that's going to enable a lot of different groups. And just to talk through the slides or the phases in a little bit more detail. Currently, we're in phase 1. So this is when we release the open call announcement, and then you all get to submit your proposals through there. We have the submission window closing on the 2nd, 23 at just before midnight on Eastern time. And then from there, we will conduct our evaluations and down select and notify winners, and those not selected, not winners, but the ones that will be selected to phase 2, and then those that are not selected the week of the 9th. And for phase 2, that is when we do our pitch and interviews. And this will take place between the 7th and 8th of April. And then again, we intend to notify those who are selected to move forward by April 10th. For phase 3, this is our SWORD demo event, and this will take place in Poland. Tentatively, we have blocked out the 8th through the 12th, and then about a month later in June, we intend to announce those that are winners coming out of the prize challenge. So we have these 3 sections here as the prize challenge. And then as you can see, phase 4 is when we pivot into our prototype OT. And those that are selected as winners coming out of the prize challenge may be asked or invited to submit a proposal to move forward to that phase. And just to provide a little bit more background on how this works. So we're using 2 different statutes here, prize authority and then the prototype other transaction authority. And with the prize, we can award winners. We can award with non-monetary. Obviously, there are cash prizes involved in this case, but this is a non-FAR-based type of activity and open to non-traditional vendors. And as in this case, it supports follow-on opportunities. As far as the prototype, we're stacking these authorities in this case. So really think about it as the prize challenge is the entry point to move forward with the potential of being invited to submit a proposal for the prototype OT. And so this is something I think that we haven't been able to line up in the same way with our prize challenges on DIU. So it's a great opportunity to have both of these available and use both these authorities. As far as eligibility, as you can see on our open call, we listed out in greater detail. You will need SAM registration and cage code. And of course, we'll expect you to be able to demonstrate in Poland by May of this year. And then if selected for the prize award and then potentially the follow-on prototype, you would need to meet the criteria listed out on the open call, and it provides a lot more context there, but essentially non-traditional participation or a third cost share required if there's partnering. As far as submission, we've received a couple of questions about when you go to submit and it asks for a solution brief. The solution brief and white paper can be considered one and the same in this case. So we're asking for the white paper, and where it says upload your solution brief, that is indeed the 5-page white paper we're asking for. And so we describe those details and provide a template that must be adhered to. We're asking you not to modify any of that and keep it the way that it's structured. It does prompt you when to enter specific information in regards to what the open call announcement is asking for. And non-compliant entries will not be accepted, so please follow the prompts there and stick with that format. The basic criteria that we're using here are these 6 that you see listed out. I'm not going to talk through all of them in great detail, but you'll see once we get into talking through the capabilities in the problem area that they're going to fall within these general categories here that you will be evaluated on. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Bertay to talk through the problem statement and area and the capabilities that we're looking for. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. So what we're talking about here is to develop a device that can predict cardiovascular collapse, not just using the vital signs that indicate it's happening, but indicating it prior to it's happening. So this would be a replacement for, or not a replacement, but be used as a triage device, primarily for medical and non-medical providers. This would be something that would be applied to the patient when they're injured. It's not something they wear all the time. This device should be something that is easy to apply, easy to understand, and again, predict that cardiovascular collapse. This will then feed up to an overall program overview for overall triage and treatment and evacuation plans. Over.
Thank you. Oh, did you want to continue, ma'am?
No, I thought you were waiting for me. My apologies.
Okay. So as far as the current state, we have listed out some of the general areas here, and really some of these slides that talk through the capabilities and the specifications that we're seeking in this challenge, we will use to defer back to as we're working through the questions that we receive. But this just provides a little bit more context on the ongoing issue and how we're looking to, what the operational challenges are and why we're looking to solve this specific problem area. And again, these are talking through what the solution should be able to do. Really just a bit more succinct outline of what it states in the open call announcement. So with the hardware characteristics, we're looking for ruggedized, lightweight, and small, and no more than 72-hour operation without having to recharge, wearable or standoff, wireless transmission. And then again, you can kind of look through these and see what we have listed out here. And we'll use this to defer back to if needed at any point when we come to a question that's asking specifically in one of these areas. So I am going to turn it over to questions. And again, please use that Q&A function, and then I will go through in the order they're received and begin working through those. We'll turn it over to the subject matter expert that has the background relevant to answer the question. And again, this will be linked. So if you miss something, it will be downloaded and linked there And then if you have any follow-ups after this, you can always reach out to prizechallenge@diu.mil and ask your questions there if anything should come up later. All right, so I'm going to start with the first question. Would DIU consider a submission centered on a software-only solution that could possibly integrate with third-party sensing hardware, or is the expectation that submissions include an end-to-end solution? I would say we encourage you to submit. What we are seeking is in hopes of having all of those capability features that we've listed out. Our goal is to find a solution that provides all of those. However, I would absolutely encourage you to submit. All right, we received some questions on the cage code prompt. We had mistakenly in the prompt when you're entering your solution information and applying, it said 10-digit cage code. That has since been resolved and it says 5 digits. So that should no longer be an issue to anybody applying now. Again, question on the solution brief document, whether or not that's a single file upload. It is a single file upload. That's the white paper that we describe in the open call announcement. All right. TRL question for this application. Is there a minimum TRL? I will open that one up to the team.
Yeah, I could go ahead.
Okay.
So yeah, I think TRL, as a lot of us know, could be subjective. I think the best guidance of how mature your product needs to be is in the solicitation. I think we wrote things like 30 devices for an exercise, 15,000 units in a year. So use that as indication versus a TRL guidance. And in the end, really, there is no minimum TRL as long as you meet those requirements.
Great, thank you, Dustin. I also see a question on, are we allowed to submit multiple submissions for the challenge? And yes, you may submit more than one. This one's for our agreements officer, Christine. If a finalist is invited to submit a proposal, what is the anticipated dollar amount for such contract?
That will depend on the negotiations. I don't have a firm number for that.
Thank you, Christine. Should the product be field ready at the start, even if it has capacity to advance significantly? And that's for the general team on the call.
Hey, Angela, I could probably can I ask a question back? What are we classifying as the start?
They didn't mention that.
I think for the demonstration. So I just use the guidance on the solicitation. Field ready. It should be good enough to be brought to the field so we could evaluate against the requirements. Sergio, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think that's helpful, Dustin.
All right, and Ms. Berthet, you may be able to answer this one. By when is the FDA clearance required? And is it required for the May 2026 sword exercise? Is it okay to be in the process by the sword exercise?
I think the preference would be for it to be FDA cleared, but I need to get back to you on the actual criteria for timelines and what would be acceptable for sword.
Thank you. Where can the template with the embedded prompts be located? That is on the open call announcement. So if you scroll down below the capability features listed, you'll see the submission requirements area. And there we have attached a template in PDF and also in Word format. So it's linked on the open call announcement. Another question, can we have academic collaborators from Canada? so long as you're adhering to the eligibility requirements listed on the open call announcement. With that general information in that question, that's not enough for me to determine whether or not that would be allowed in this instance. How firm is the 30 units should be ready by May requirement? Over to the team.
Yeah, I think we need those devices to be able to evaluate against requirements. So yes, pretty firm.
Anything else?
I was going to say, I believe it said up to 30 devices.
Okay. All right, next question. In addition to this challenge, are there funding vehicles for battlefield medical devices which can take longer time to develop? For example, TRL 2 to 3 level.
Any of those would be released on sam.gov as the opportunities came up. Nothing related to this challenge.
For software capabilities, how will the SWORD participation be structured? If you're selected to move forward and beyond phase 2 to phase 3, we would provide additional guidance that outlines exactly what will be required and what's needed at that time. For teams submitting with defined hardware, software, and research partners, should the white paper be submitted under one lead company, or can it reflect full team with roles identified? If you're doing individual partnering, then you can go ahead and submit all together as a whole. And I would just ensure that partnering is in alignment with the eligibility listed on the website. But definitely submitting as a whole solution is the best case scenario, I think, for applying to this, because you're providing the full solution rather than pieces of it. Let's see. A ROM is requested for phase 2. Is it primarily for getting the 30 units ready for SWORD? Can it include the cost to get FDA clearance as well?
Yeah, I think you, if you're able to input all the information you know about ROM, the more the better. So allow us to get a good idea of the total cost that you guys are thinking.
All right. This one is for Christine. Does a university research institution with active DoD-funded clinical programs satisfy the non-traditional defense contractor requirement for phase 4 with potential OTA eligibility?
I'm going to say probably. The definition depends on whether that institution has received a CAS, Cost Accounting Standards contract, in the last year before this AOI went live. Probably. I would double check that.
Thank you. Does the 5-page requirement include the cover page? Please take a look at the template. All pages you submit are part of the 5. So yes, that first page completely outlines what we're asking for on that first page. And yes, that's included in the 5. Can one company propose more than one solution? Yes. Is this purely for cardiovascular triage exercise, or is it system agnostic?
This is purely for the prediction of cardiovascular collapse. Whatever vital signs or requirements you need to make that indication, that's what we need.
Thank you.
Can I expand on that?
Oh, sure.
Hi, as Ms. Berthe said, this is usually a cardiovascular collapse type triage exercise, but we're envisioning the MTS as kind of a hemodynamic stability triage device. So if there are alternative methods outside of the traditional vital signs, such as AI algorithms or anything, any other novel ways to triage, would be interested in learning about that. And sorry, I should introduce myself. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Vandersford with the Medical FCD. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Would a potential follow-on prototype OT be subject to open competition or limited to prize winners? So I know we've described in the open solicitation, open call announcement that it does not require recompetition. Christine, did you want to add anything to that?
The prize challenge competition is the competition for that prototype award. We are not going to do another AOI. We're not going to post it under DIU CSO. This challenge is the competition for that award.
Thank you. What does the demonstration look like? Will there be simulated hemodynamic conditions with subjects that we need to monitor?
I think for now we don't have the capabilities to simulate hemodynamic settings. So, yeah, I think that might help explain that part. Let's see, Angela, do you want to probably talk better about the general review of SWORD and what we could we're planning to submit the vendors to?
Yeah, I think so. The demo event itself will take place over the course of 2 days. And that's to evaluate all of the vendors that would be there participating. So you would likely be involved in 1 day, and then they're moving through the different levels of care throughout the demo. And as we move forward through phase 2, and if you're selected to move forward and are invited to phase 3, we would certainly provide a lot more context there and a lot more of the logistics and coordination required to set things up. So getting through that process, you'll definitely be provided additional information to help you sort that out. But I would say, like, at this point, if you're concerned about the demo as far as what you're submitting in your solution, follow the open call announcement capabilities features that were listed out, and that captures what we're looking to evaluate at the demo. Will these slides be provided? Yes, they will. You'll get the video of this posted on the website. Let's see, just getting past some duplicate questions.
I think one of the points that I think we should address is the 30 device set. I don't think we're really clear on the answer there. Brina mentioned up to 30 devices. I think, and then I said hard at 30. I think the answer is after we finish phase 1, we'll have a better understanding. We anticipate up to 30, but I guess we're not tied to 30. I think we'll have to see the vendors' capabilities after phase 1. I don't know, Brina, if you had any more insight on it, because you did also comment that it was up to.
Nope, just repeating what was in the solicitation. Obviously 30 would be our target, but it's not a exclusion if that's not up at 30.
Yeah, I think general guidance, if I was applying to this, address your ability to handle 30 for the demonstration, and if not, discuss where you're at and why.
Yeah, I think just provide the information that you have, what you would be able to provide for the exercise, regardless of number. Just be specific. Be specific about the number. Didn't want to.
Thank you. Does TAC BATDOC integration need to be achieved prior to SWORD?
I think it's kind of the same answer for the 30. Demonstrate if you're able to connect to any of those, and if you're able to connect to any government devices, let us know. and potential way forward. Sorry, Brina, I jumped over you.
Nope, I agree with your answer.
Thanks. Are the training tools within scope or just a tool for use during live triage?
Yeah, we're looking, the AOI or the solicitation is looking for live triage. So the way I take that question is there room for a technology that's to help medics train? The solicitation is looking for live triage.
Thank you, Dustin. What do we consider as the size and portability for storage of the solution set? For example, will it be carried in a med kit?
I mean, potentially, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have it drafted as it would be carried in the combat medic bag.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Will the 30 or up to 30 devices be consumed or returned for continued development? They will be returned. What do we consider as the size and portability for storage of the solution set? Apologies. What does success look like at SWORD?
I think from my point of view, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So what we're really looking for is a device that is going to help providers triage patients more effectively. So something that is going to increase the ability of patients that they're able to take care of, as well as increase or decrease the time it takes for them to triage a patient to see if their interventions are being effective and how quickly they can use their triage decisions to evacuate the patients or get those patients to damage control, resuscitation, and surgery.
Thank you. Where can we find more info about the SWORD event? Can other relevant systems be tested at that event? So moving through the selection process in this challenge, if you are invited to move forward, you will learn more about the SWORD event at that point in time. Other relevant systems, we are only testing systems that are selected and invited to demonstrate at the event. Would a device that can be used for vitals, monitoring pre and post trauma care, be more attractive than just during triage?
I would say the minimum requirement is that it's applied at the point of injury and then can travel with the patient. Just be specific in your response as to what your capability is.
Thank you. Can you comment on data privacy encryption requirements for the demo? Does anyone want to respond to that one? All right, more details to be released once, if and when you're selected to move forward to phase 3. Is the evacuation priority output expected to integrate with existing triage categories, or is a proprietary urgency framework acceptable?
I would say that what we're looking for is something that would be integrated into what our existing triage categories are, but of course would be interested in seeing what the proposed proprietary framework is.
Thank you. If FDA approval is needed prior to SWORD, that would imply TRL 9 and limit this challenge to COTS or close to COTS products. The challenge would then be supporting high TRL to get over the final transition hurdle. Is that the intent? One thing I wanted to clarify before I turn it over to the others. So a lot of the specifications that are laid out in our open call announcement, you'll notice are listed as desired capabilities. And that's because at this point, part of identifying and working with our mission partners and understanding what it is they need, that is the way the open call announcement is framed to identify what it is that would solve the problem for them. And so when we say desired, there's no hard requirement that you must submit having that capability. But did anyone else want to address that as well?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the minimal vial product is detailed in the announcement, as well as the FDA requirements there. So it needs to be done prior to fielding to the force. But if you review the announcement, that'll give you a little more detail.
Thank
and
you.
then just tag on fielding to the force is different from the sword demonstration.
So to answer that a little bit more clearly, approval is not needed prior to sword. Would DIU be interested in other forms of triage in this challenge? For example, casualty, injury, severity stratification, not explicitly hemodynamic status monitoring. And will such solutions be acceptable?
Hey, this is Colonel Boudreau with 68th. I would venture to say that, as the Army health system has a standardized methodology for triaging, the trauma center is meant to augment that existing triage system. So a new form of triage may not be something that we're looking for. Over.
Thank you, sir. Submission instructions say footnotes are not permitted. Instruction also says additional references section is permitted. If within the page limit, where should additional references be listed if not in footnotes? We will, as part of our Q&A and posting on this site, we'll follow up with a clear response to that one. So you'll find that there in our Q&A when we list out the questions and post it back up on the site. Assuming the vendor or supplier has to cover the cost of the 30 devices, FDA clearance, and every other cost up to the demo, they would be working without pay until that point, right? The cash prizes are awarded only if they win, correct? Cash prizes that's a good point. The cash prizes are awarded following phase 2. So after we do the pitches and the interviews, if your company is selected to move forward and invited to attend the demo, then at that point, you would be awarded a share of the $999,000 available for the prize challenge. So you would be awarded ahead of the demo and receive those funds ahead of the demo. How many finalists are expected for the sword exercise? Up to 8 vendors will be selected for the sword exercise. Does the device need to be MIL standard compliant at the sword event? Does anyone want to respond to that one?
I think given the way the announcement is written, that would be under the desired capability, but not required.
Thank you, ma'am. Would there be an opportunity to work with military stakeholders in phase 3 or 4 to further refine specifications, development trade-offs based on operational constraints and requirements?
So
I would say
this is yeah, I would say yes. Absolutely.
Yes, as well.
yes.
Thank you. For the sword demonstration event, could you please outline the main types of testing scenarios, key performance metrics to be evaluated, and any specific logistics, preparation, or safety? No, at this point in time, we will not provide that. And if you are selected to move forward, you will be provided that information. Not necessarily key performance metrics, but you will be provided all the information you need to know what to bring and what we will be looking at as far as the criteria for evaluation. Am I correct in my math? Fielding to the force expected 1 year from sword, that would indicate FDA clearance and scale manufacturing by May 2027. Justin, is that, can you respond to that one?
Yeah, that's right. I would indicate yes, scale manufacturing, but that's right. Yeah, there's many ways where FDA clearance or acknowledgement could be done. So yeah, those numbers are 15,000 is pretty big, and that's right.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, let's see. Do we have any more questions showing up on the broadcast? I'm not seeing any.
We do, sorry.
Okay. Will a list of finalists be listed publicly? Typically, we do announce the finalists invited to the separate phases. I would say it's very likely that we will announce that. If cash prize is awarded after April 10th, assuming cash arrives during the same day, applicants have 1 month to get ready for SWORD. That may not be enough time. How lenient are you on? Okay, so the prize award is an award for what you've submitted. It's not meant to be the money you use to further progress your solution. However, I understand that would make sense for some of you. Typically, I think the turnaround time has been more like a week lately. And so that would be our intent, was to ensure you have the funding to get out there on site. As far as the final product and the demo, everything that's outlined in the open call, again, many of those capability features are listed as desired. And just to reiterate, the award is not meant to further progress your solution. It's meant to award for your participation in what you've shown on the merit, and then help facilitate your travel costs. Do we have access to Starlink or similar SAT communication capability? Again, you'll be provided demo information at the point if you are selected to move forward. What are the expectations of predictive class 8?
It's a separate
Over to the
requirement.
team. Oh, go ahead.
That's a separate requirement.
Okay. You've spoken about triage. Can you speak more about the treatment component of the challenge? Over to the team.
Yes, this is a triage device, not a treatment device.
Thank you.
I didn't follow on question. I mean, why is there treatment in there? I think it's the intent of the title is triage to get to treatment.
Right. It's the next step. All right. I don't see any other questions. If we've answered all of them, are you guys seeing any more?
Will we be publishing the finalists? Did you already answer that?
When or whether we would?
Whether.
Very likely we will. We typically do. Okay. Would a drone camera-based triaging solution be possible at the event? Over to the team.
Potentially.
I think part of a lot of what we do at DIU is we don't want to give requirements of what exactly we want. If there are unique and novel ways to address the problem that we have, we're open to hear how that could work.
Thank
And
you.
the announcement does specify wearable or standoff.
Okay. I had asked a question about bad doc overlap in the triage component. What do you, I think they meant imagine how the two would coexist. Over to the team if you have an answer for that one.
I think we'd like to see proposed solutions for that.
Thank you. For further clarification, is the table the only requirement for the title page? Yes, what I am not envisioning the template in my mind. I know there's a table on the first page. Whatever you see there, whatever prompts, please use those and follow those exactly. Thank you. Are you interested in using the device pre-triage as well if it's valuable for both pre and triage itself?
I think we've answered this one, but the answer is that we need it for triage. Pre and post are benefits, but not the focus of this challenge. So just be specific about what your capabilities are.
Thank you. Okay. I don't see any other questions.
You see the facility clearance one?
If awarded, I guess, are they talking about the demo? You'll be provided those details upon invitation to the demo.
Yeah, and then if that's a question of do you need facility clearance to get to the demo, the answer is no.
But there will be some sort of background clearance checks in the process. All right. Well, it looks like we've gotten through all the questions. Again, we'll post this once we get the recording and then upload it into the open call announcement. We'll also list out the questions and the responses, and any that we weren't able to respond to during this call, we'll follow up with. If any other questions come up, please feel free to reach out at prizechallenge@diu.mil and continue to engage with us. You can see here, these are different ways you can connect with us. And just want to say thank you. Thanks for joining today. We're really looking forward to seeing the solutions that you're proposing and hope to stay connected. Thanks all.